he was a good guy and we went our separate ways. I don't care if that man had a baby on you. I don't care if he had a whole family at home and was living with you. Okay? Lie.
That may not be the woman that you really want to be with.
We are taught that it's better outside of marriage.
Hey guys, welcome back to More to Life. I'm not going to hold you. Let's get right into it.
I do not accept a coffee or a walk as a possible date option in this video. First of all, I'm not a dog that needs to be walked. Second, I have an espresso machine at home, works fabulous. I'm not doing drinks either. You're gonna try to get me drunk and take me back home. No. We are doing dinner. You're gonna pick me up, we're gonna come to the restaurant, see your table manners, see what you order, we're gonna see do you hold your chopsticks correctly. Just gonna, study you a bit. So dinner it is.
Need I say anything? You don't know how I feel about that.
Y'all gotta stop telling all these crybaby stories about what your ex did to you. And he did this, and he. If a man asks you about your past relationships, lie.
That's a white lie.
He don't even need to know all that. Tell him it was cordial. He was a good guy and we went our separate ways. I don't care if that man had a baby on you. I don't care if he had a whole family at home and was living with you. Okay? Lie.
An ugly lie.
He don't need to know all of that. You will never know what my ex did to me. I don't want you getting no bright ideas. I don't want you to know where the bar was ever set.
He belongs to the streets.
If a man asks you about your past relationship, lie. Okay? You're thinking small. You gotta think big.
That right there can be kind of dangerous, right? Of course, you don't want to. She's right in some way where you shouldn't be bashing guys, because the way you bash them, guys gonna know, wait a minute, you must have did something wrong too. A lot of guys want to know what happened, what traumas happened.
Facts.
Or they can see certain things. The guys want to know, so they know what they get themselves into. That's why she's saying lie, but then at the end of the day, that may not be the woman that you really want to be with. I love seeing guys like this give it shine, because all that does for the passport bros is elevate it. Guys are already getting passports by the numbers. The passports are increasing. That's not from just guys just saying, oh, you know what, I want to get my passport. That didn't happen just like that, right? Passport bros had a lot to do with that. They're watching going, man, I want to be like that. Now with J. Cole, and also this guy Bass or whatever, songs like this, the more things like this keep happening, the more guys keep getting involved and pushing it more to the forefront. It's already on the news.
Passport bros, cash for no.
Right? It's getting a lot of negative, but it's going to be more positive. You don't want to know why? Because guys that are like him see it. Guys that are in the music industry and also the acting industry and all through Hollywood, those guys are already traveling out. They're already passport bros. They're already going to different countries. A lot of these guys have Filipinas. I look at 50 Cent's ex-girl. She was filmed in the Philippines, right? I'm sure she was you met her in the U.S. I look at Dave Chappelle. He's married to a Filipino. You look at a lot of these guys, they have international women. And I'm not even shaming black women at all. It's just these guys are passport bros. We need more of it.
So I'm going to talk about something that might make you a little uncomfortable, but it's okay because we ain't about comfort over here. So my husband and I went to a event, I guess you can say, or like a class in church called Elevated Marriage. It was my first time there. It was his second time there. And I look at the topic and I'm like, what are they going to talk about today, right? And I look down at the paper and it says, and marriage. So I was kind of like taken aback by it because I've actually been like in my mind thinking about that a lot, only because I look at this from a negative lens, kind of. I could say God is healing me from that because of my past. And I want to give y'all some revelation that I just got from yesterday. So a lot of us grew up being very promiscuous. If you did not grow up that way, bless you, you saved yourself from so much damage. But because I grew up like that, when I got into a relationship that was actually a real relationship and now my marriage, I realized that because God took away my desire for promiscuity and all that stuff, that I didn't have a desire anymore, even like for my husband. And although my husband and I would have, it was like really hard for me. Like I really had to push myself to go there. And it was like an internal battle I fought because I felt so bad. I'm like, am I not attracted to my husband? Like, why don't I want yada, yada? And I would have this conversation with God all the time in my head and never talk to my husband about it. So yesterday I'm sitting in there and I'm just like, I can't believe God is answering this prayer for me right now. So here was the one that stood out to me the most. In the world, we are taught that it's better outside of marriage.
No excuses. I repeat, no excuses.
But in the kingdom of God, and why he tells us to wait, is because sex with your husband, when you become one with them, is actually like the highest form of praise to God. Like our bodies were meant to have and meant to be unified with one another in deep intimacy.
I get what you're saying, right? But I understand I'm all for being married to a woman. I'm married, right? I felt it was the best thing I could have done. I don't have that problem though. It's probably your husband, right? Attitude I have. Step in that room, I'm not even saying nothing. I'm not even saying let's do this, right? Step in that room, it's like destruction time, right? And honestly, I understand what you're saying about God, and to God be the glory, but I don't think your man is sparking that kind of interest. He's not bringing that fire, right? Well, he demands that. Not even demand, like, you guys don't, the guys that know. The guys that know, and women know too. And he's not bringing that. That's what it is. So yes, you're not attracted to your husband, lady. But let me let her finish.
And this lady told me, she was like, some of you need to forgive yourself for being promiscuous. Some of you need to forgive yourself or forgive the people that have introduced you to perversion and the things that you've seen, even like as a child. And that made so much sense to me. Because think about it, you guys. If we were never meant to have sex outside of marriage, then we wouldn't be having these weird thoughts inside of marriage of, oh, I'm not that person anymore. Oh, I'm not promiscuous anymore. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, I'm not that. But that's a lie. You were meant to be hot with your husband or hot with your wife. You would have became a freak anyways, eventually, with your husband or your wife, right? I don't know, man. I hope that hit y'all the way it hit me, because it made a lot of sense to me. It'll only make sense to the people that it's meant.
That sounds like a crock of nonsense. You know, this is good for her, and I respect it, because that's gonna make her husband feel okay. He's gonna see this and go, yeah, okay, that's what's wrong. That's why my baby's not giving me none. That's why. But you know one thing, man. You know one thing. What could be happening? He's falling into that Americanized marriage where, you know, she's bored and yeah, and he probably don't bring the fire, and yeah, or she doesn't know how to bring the fire naturally. So yeah, that's all I say about that. But guys, you already know what it is.
This is the way.
Passport, bro. Cash for no.
It's more to life than dealing with you.